see, I can see you on the bike.
Yeah, I've been on the bike.
Okay, do you
Yeah.
go down Third Avenue?
Yeah, once in a while.
Once in a while?
Yeah, not too
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't come here because my hearing is a little,
You know, it's not easy, right?
yeah, so.
Okay, we'll try and talk loudly.
Yeah.
But we got it covered, everything's going good.
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
missed you, but we got it covered.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, well, it's, hey, Paul, how you doing? Hey, man, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Hi, Rich. How you doing? Good, good.
How are you?
You know Paul.
Yeah, he was one of the task force for the strategic plan.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
oh, that's right, I haven't seen you.
Where?
Hey, how are you?
We're good, you know, we keep pushing along,
you know,
273 members.
guest speaker this year.
But who's counting? I used to know everybody by heart.
Yeah.
But we just announced a new one, like a mini golf.
That's not- it's not-
That's
it's not-
a
No, we're at the presentation.
She's given us the whole, you know, evening and we're gonna
What is
have.
the date?
I do.
Good, how are you?
So,
Good, buddy.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I see Michelle.
Watch the candy.
Hey, buddy.
Like a bonus.
yeah, well, you have to somehow play.
Oh, put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
Can't tell from up there. How are you?
I don't know who to ask, but we need some wishing tree applications out in front because we're gonna get 70 trees from Steve. So we're trying to push it as much as possible, and I just wrote an article for the poster, and I'm like, oh, just stop by office, I'm like, there's none out there.
Do you have the application, extended?
Yeah, the wishing tree I can pull it up and just.
Oh, okay.
It's on the website.
Yeah, I'll make copies here.
Yeah, you know what, I think there's a newer one, so maybe, let me ask
All
Larry
right, yeah,
Bagwell.
just send me whatever you want out there.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. Hi. Oh, my jacket that I left at town's office. I know, well, this is a little more different. This is more like a bomber, like a motorcycle jacket. Yes. Yeah, I got a little thing on it.
Yeah, really good job, you know.
Yeah, this is my, like, class. I used to go to farm. Yeah, they always say, stewardess, someone's in my seat, and I'm like, shut up. This was just like,
How are you?
Did you get my email this morning?
I was at a training seminar this
Okay.
morning, so I didn't check my email.
Okay, our anonymous friend, we came back.
Okay, I'll look at it.
Either way.
How you been? Everything's going well? Feeling good?
what's that?
The new sushi place opened up.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
They were doing so well. Quite
I
amazing.
actually did it.
But they deserve it. Good shit. They did.
Stop there and see if they have like take home.
It's busy, it's filled at high.
When I went by, I asked them, they said they were good. They said come early.
She's giving me the same thing, like, I'm going to.
They put a lot of
I've
money.
already got the answer for the BWC.
Yeah, little points, just.
Yeah, the other stuff I used to copy of records, but that one, and, you know, the one is what it is. Guarantee he'll go away.
Well, they did, until I lost them.
Guarantee he'll go away.
And I got another pair, and I lost that too. And they were prescription. class is done doing
Anyway,
I can't see it on the screen. It's just a blurry mess. It's scary, because if there's something happened to this one, I'll be scrolling. I can't read anything. I don't know what it says. Encore? No, council, close.
first the,
I know. Okay. Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
Still on the email list.
One day I'll remember to use umbrella. I'll give it as a rating. I think it's been here for a month.
Yeah, something like that. Before I walk off, I'm gonna go back to
I didn't really look at it.
I did, thank you. I know, I'm fine.
We're waiting for the room to fill up, but.
Call this meeting to order, please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce that the 48-hour notice was required under the Open Public Meetings Act, was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Coast Star, and the New Coaster on December the 19th of 2024, that a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. As a courtesy to the public, this meeting may be attended via Zoom. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption, and action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person quorum. Mr. Noble?
Here.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Here.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our meeting this evening. We are just going to move through the agenda, I hope fairly quickly this evening, but don't want to discourage any comment from the public at all. That said, I think we have a fairly straightforward agenda. So let's jump into item number 5, workshops. There are none. Item number 6, though, we do have first a proclamation and then a guest speaker joining us to educate us about the beachfront. But first, can I turn to Councilwoman Greenblatt?
So this is a proclamation, Turn the Town's Teal 2025. Whereas September has been designated as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas Turns the Town Teal is a national campaign to create awareness of ovarian cancer, and during the month of September, volunteers tie teal ribbons throughout town. And whereas Turn the Town's Teal was an inspiration of Gail McNeil of Chatham, New Jersey, and goes forward in her name and in her honor. And whereas ovarian cancer is called the silent disease because symptoms are often subtle and or vague and often mimic other disorders. And whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer death among women, each year more than 20,000 women are diagnosed with the disease and approximately 13,000 die from it. And whereas if detected in its early stages, the 5-year survival rate for ovarian cancer can be as high as 90 to 95%. However, there is no screening test, so awareness of symptoms remain imperative and early detection awareness imperative. And whereas the Borough of Bradley Beach will participate in the Turn the Town's Teal campaign with ribbons adorning parts of Main Street and the boardwalk for the month of September. Now therefore, be it resolved, the governing body of the Borough of Bradley Beach do hereby support the Turn the Town's Teal awareness campaign and proclaim September as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, dated this 19th day of August, 2025.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And if you do see ribbons around town next month in September, teal ribbons, you'll know it's supporting ovarian cancer treatment. Next on our agenda presentation is plant protection strips on the beachfront. Councilman Weber has invited a guest speaker to join us. John, would you like to make a quick introduction?
Certainly, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so we have on Zoom Todd Hilbert. Todd works for Conserve Wildlife Foundation of New Jersey. They work in conjunction with the state DEP and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. On this particular program, I'll let Todd talk to you about it, but it's the plant protection strips. You've seen like a little post and signs and sometimes some rope or maybe string on the eastern side of the dunes actually to protect that part of the dunes. Todd can tell us what it's all about. We do have struggles because it's not a really robust system of post and rope, and we have weather, and we have a very busy beachfront. But Todd's here to explain the importance to us and then take some questions. And I have to say, Todd, normally there's a capacity crowd in this room, but it is late August, so you got what you got, but it's recorded for people can relive the magic. So take it away, Todd.
Okay, can I just want to check real quick, everybody can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks for the introduction, that was a good one. And just to jump really right into it, my role is to sort of develop beach management plans, endangered species beach management plans with the towns. You already have one. I did actually work with your borough when we developed it 5 or 6 years ago. But also endangered species plant protection, sea beach amaranth primarily, and that plant protection strip that you have on your beaches. That's one of the main purposes of that strip. Just as a little refresher, your beach management plan is actually a required plan as part of your ongoing federal beach renourishment. It's a way to conserve or protect plants and animals in listed species such as sea beach amaranth that could colonize or already exist on your beach as a result of sort of added new habitat during the renourishment process. The plant protection strips is one of the main ways for the plants. In addition, those beach management plans have a regulatory function. Towns that have coastal permits for beach and dune maintenance allow you to rake your beach, make it safe for your public, and clean for your public. There are safeguards for endangered species in those as well. They're standard ones, but when you have one of these plans, they sort of supersede it and become the new standard. So this is an example. You're not allowed to drive or rake in those plant protection strips. So if you're doing that, you're not only violating the plan itself, but you're actually violating your coastal permit. So it's in your best interest to implement the plans as they're supposed to be to avoid potential NJDP violations. So I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just giving you like the background of how that works. So just as an example, the plant protection strips in particular, there's going to be years where you have no plants in them, no listed plants, and then years you may have several or a couple. One of the roles of it is not just to give a safe place for the plants to be able to grow, but also the way the recovery for plants happens. This kind of plant is there has to be room for the seeds to move around in the habitat, not only like within the burrow, but for instance, there's a lot of plants in Belmar and to some extent Avon to your south. And the way that the plants recover in the large scale is the seeds have to have a chance to move around and land somewhere where they're not going to get run over, stepped on, raked by your raking machine. So the goal again is to give a safe haven. And going back to the regulatory part really quickly, the standard protections that the state has in place, let's say you have even just a couple plants, and one is in the middle of your beach in town, central part, and maybe one at each end. Each year they reassess, and wherever you have plants, they put a restriction that you can't drive or rake where the plant was, or 200 yards on north and south of that plant for the next couple of years. And so what that means, and I don't just mean in the plant strips, that's from the toe of the dune all the way to the shoreline. So if that were the standard restriction in your town, even if you had a couple plants with a small burrow like you have, that could really restrict you from legally being able to rake any or most of your beach. Driving is restricted in those cases as well. So the workaround that we came up with was, instead of having that kind of protection and it changing from every year, as long as the towns are willing to set aside that 10% back part of the beach, which is what your plant protection strip is, and implement it the way it's supposed to be with no driving, no raking, that takes the place of that more stringent restriction. So there actually is, in your case in particular, I think, potential big upside of the plant protection strip over the standard rules that would be in place. I think John alluded to one of the issues you're having. You have them in the back, and there was a third-party, Raritan Valley Community College, that was contracted by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to try to help towns transition into implementing these strips, putting the fence up for you in the beginning of the season and marking it. The idea, though, there was to, over time, transition that responsibility back to the towns, because ultimately they are responsible for implementing these strips and the beach management plans. And so I think, we're at a point where they've been doing it a couple of years, it's working okay, but they do not have the resources to come out frequently during the season to maintain them. They obviously need maintenance or they're going to, fall disrepair, and it's unsightly, and it's also, not as effective if it's not up all the time. So I think one of the things I wanted to re-educate you about what the purpose of it was, the background, and acknowledge that, we'd like to, one of my roles is to try to coordinate these protections with the local coastal communities. So we'd also like to start a dialogue to see if we can come up with a slightly better way or more effective way for you as a town to mark them and implement them in the long term. And that's kind of just what I really wanted to say. I don't know if John has anything he wants to add to that, and then I will split the week with time for questions.
Thank you, Todd. I'm going to ask a question just to make sure I heard you correctly. So if we didn't have these plant protection strips, if we did not have them, and this endangered plant, sea beach amaranth, showed up on our beach, we would potentially have to maybe have big sections, hundreds of yards wide, where there was no raking and no nothing for a couple of years. But because we have these plant protection strips, we don't have to do that big 100 yards wide, no raking thing. So it's really helping us kind of better comply with whatever the state rules are. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's pretty much spot on. And you did have a plan. You had plans off and on, but not many. I think you had, like last year, for instance. So yeah, that large no rake, no drive, not just no rake, but no drive on the beach zone would have been in effect for this year, for instance, if you didn't have the strips instead.
Okay, so it's in our interest to maintain the strips and we don't have to do this more stringent thing. And another question, I had originally thought the purpose of these was to sort of protect the eastern edge of the dunes so new dune grass shoot roots can come out and kind of, fortify our dunes and build up our dunes. I don't think I appreciated that it was really about this one endangered plant, sea beach amaranth, but would you say it's sort of a side benefit that our dunes get to stay healthy on the important side, the eastern side where the ocean is, because there's this section where there's no driving and there's no raking and whatever, sort of a side benefit besides the endangered species thing?
Yeah, and every town has a different take on what they want on their beach. But yeah, I think absolutely. You've chosen to have a dune in front of your boardwalk, which was not part of your original template with the Army Corps. I believe you must have built that yourself, because I know the Corps doesn't build them in Monmouth County. So yeah, it allows the dune to naturally continue to serve its natural function, which is storm protection, which seems really timely, like right now. I mean, I know Aaron's not gonna hit you hard, but you're gonna have a storm, you're gonna have some storm surge, but yes, for a large storm, yes, it would be, it helps promote a healthier dune system, correct?
Other questions?
So, can you just clarify for me, when you're referring to these strips, are these are areas where the eastern side of our dunes meet the beach front?
Correct, so the way they're defined is they're supposed to be from the, I say the toe of the dunes, so that's sort of where your slope flattens out, where there's, not a lot of vegetation towards the ocean. They're supposed to be that back 10% of the beach. That make sense to you, or did I clarify that correctly, or?
And in terms of, so if you compare it to a beach like, say, Avon that has no dunes, what is their strip? What is their?
Their strip starts from the base of the boardwalk going outwards, so it's just the plant itself usually grows, grows, if there's a dune, it's gonna grow in front of the dune. There's no dune, so, yeah, Avon's a good example. Theirs is measured from the base of the boardwalk outwards.
So it sounds like it's also critical that we ensure that people don't go on the dunes. Because there are some times when we have a crowded beach, people start to kind of sit as the dune starts to rise. We've got some signage, but.
I mean, the strips are marked, and you do have string, and when it's allowed to stay up, like I said, it's an issue we got to grapple with or work on how to keep that maintained. But the strips are actually marked on your beach with posts and string, and so it's supposed to kind of delineate where it is.
I have a question. If the string comes down, can we replace it?
Absolutely. Like I said, the way it was set up first was for the Raritan Valley folks to kind of help, but they don't have the kind of resources to come out during the week. We have these in just recent, every town except, I guess, Elmhurst, and maybe is the only one that doesn't have one of these plans. Like Asbury Park has one, and you can imagine they're having a terrible time keeping the string up too. So yes, we would encourage that, and we could probably come up with some better material for the posts and strings that would last a little better too. So there's some of the discussions we kind of have moving forward that improve it for you.
Just to
So it
share,
doesn't have to be maintained so much.
and just to share one situation that we're currently in, we have a project that is going to replace the outfall pipe from Sylvan Lake out to the ocean, and DEP is managing that project. And right now, we're waiting for Fish, Game, and Wildlife to come out and inspect the dune in the area of the construction to verify that the Sea Beach Amaranth is not present. If it's not present currently, we'll be able to begin construction sooner. But right now, we are basically not allowed to begin construction until November. And so they're supposed to be out there like any day. Like they said by the beginning of September, they would be going out and doing an inspection. So DEP does take this very seriously, and it is a highly protected species.
Did they just send Utah? Is that gonna be you doing that?
Actually, they have a separate team that does that. I am kind of, I don't want to say 100%, but I think they swept through already and actually there's like an annual survey that's done coastwide, and they might have done it already. I do not believe they found any plants.
And we're waiting to hear. We're waiting to get the status of that.
So yes, exactly. So normally the growing season lasts to November 30th, and it's not like frost. I mean, they just die eventually, or frost or tidal surge. So like some of the plants in Belmar last night were already washed out because of the tide. So, but nonetheless, yes, it's part of they're highly regulated. Any coastal project like that, they have to make sure whether it's nesting birds in the summer or this plant during its growing season, it's not present, or sometimes it's present, they come up with a mitigation or a way to work around it. But yeah, so you could have a timing restriction. If you had a plant there, they could have placed a timing restriction until December 1st to start.
Todd, thank you, number one, for joining us. I want to ask you a couple quick questions. I'll say on behalf of residents and beachgoers, so I'm 100% supportive of what we're all trying to accomplish here, but we do hear pretty regularly a number of concerns raised. I just want to recite those to you so that you can provide your feedback and guidance. You mentioned already the sticks and the string that have been provided, and I'm choosing the word sticks to suggest they really are very small, they're not very sturdy. And the string is very thin, you can barely see it. So we start out with a mechanism designed to protect this area of the beach that's not even that visible because it's so flimsy. And a little child chasing a beach ball might step on it and knock it over. And what we're finding is we also do have a lot of activity, as you'd imagine, especially a sunny day at the beach, where our beach goers might be pretty close to the string to begin with. And then we have utility vehicles driven by lifeguards, DPW, and they need to get around these beach goers. And if that string is not that visible, it's unintentional, but vehicles can drive over that area. So I guess challenge number one is the flimsiness of the structure that we're using, the plant protection strips. Is there something that could be done to create greater visibility, invest a little bit more in the substantial nature of the strips?
Yeah, and so the key is like trying to find a balance between cost effective but also effective, like you're talking about. So the particular material, I'm not dissing them. The particular materials being used, the wooden stakes and the twine. Our organization also does plant protection a little bit different. We use PVC poles. They definitely are more durable, last longer, but they're also safe. It's not like a metal stake that a kid's going to run into and injure themselves. We use more durable string, and we put some flagging on it, on the sections in between. So yes, because visibility we do think is an issue for both the public and your public works or your folks driving on the beach, especially at dusk maybe or later in the day. So there's some little minor things you could do that probably could greatly improve it. There's a cost factor, but I don't think it's so high that it's insurmountable. And there's also different signs, and I had mentioned at the time that we just ordered new signs and we're willing to give you more of them and use more of them to make it more visible as well. Not everybody likes a ton of signs, so that's just aesthetic or decision you're going to make, but that's another possibility to make it more visible.
So on that note, we can follow up with you after tonight's session just to determine what we can do to kind of enhance the effectiveness. The other question is the concept of protecting this area. I think everyone is unified in agreement that we want to abide by those objectives. But the question that's come to me a couple times is if some of the is it sea beach amaranth? The plant we're talking about? Let's say we're fortunate enough to have some of these species, emerge on the beach. And now they're in that 10% area. And next year, do we rope off 10% farther out? Or how does the measurement process work? People have asked, at some point, do we lose the beach?
Yeah, so let's say you have it, and sometimes get it, and then they get a plant kind of in the middle of the beach. It doesn't change the 10%. So that's what we agreed with you, and we agree with almost every other town. We know there's a trade-off. We found a plant in the middle of the beach, or one we might put a little bit of fence, little triangle, size of a dinner table or something around it to protect the plant. But then the following year, we don't, add that into the protection. The measurement just kind of goes from that toe of the dune. We do know, beaches get wider and narrower So either whether it's renourishment or erosion over time. So that's really the main measurement is the 10% from that toe of the dune slope out towards your high tide line.
Okay, great, thank you. Normally, we hold questions until a little later, but while we have Todd on the call, anyone in the audience have a question for Mr. Clover? Mr. Klein?
Mr. Colbert, Thomas Cohen, 612 Third Avenue. Are the existing stake locations reflective of the 10%?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that's if they haven't been knocked down and then put back with that, by like a well-meaning person.
Yes, that's true.
So, I mean, when they were originally staked, yeah.
Is there a way to do it just permanently where it's up all year round, or is that?
Well, that is it. Originally, they were up all year round,
Yeah.
and again, like you said, Raritan Valley College did it, kind of gave us a freebie, and with the intention that we're going to transition to the town taking this over. They came back and did it again early this year, and again, they're just not holding up that well. So, I mean, I think what Todd is saying, we're going to explore ways that we can sort of put our own material, better material, different material, but it is meant to be up year round.
Great. I mean, the location doesn't seem too intrusive to the beach if that's the limitation.
That's because you're on Evergreen, that really big, wide beach. So,
Yeah, I'm on Third.
Are there other questions on Zoom for Mr. Clover? Okay, seeing none, I think we're ready to move on. Mr. Clover, thank you again for your time tonight.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, good night. Moving on to item 7 is the approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve August 5, 2025 council business meeting minutes.
Second.
Ms. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gupatowski?
Yes. We skipped the number here, right? I'm looking at, I go from 7 to 9.
Oh, shoot. No, that's my typo, sorry.
We're trying to move the meeting fast.
Sorry about that.
Okay, item number 9 on the agenda, public comments. This is comments limited to 5 minutes and for items on the agenda only. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, seeing no comments or questions, I'll move on to item 10 on the agenda, which are ordinances. We'll start with three new ordinance introductions. One is bond ordinance 2025-26. This is a bond ordinance providing for sanitary sewer system improvements, appropriating $2 million for such work, our sanitary infrastructure. Any comments or discussion on this side?
Mayor, I'd just like to note that the purpose of this bond is to help support us to get a grant from the DEP and the Water Infrastructure Bank that will basically give us the $2 million and allow us to complete the design of the remaining portion of our sewer system from north of Fifth Avenue. So we'll actually be getting the rest of that sewer system paid for through grant money. But we have to basically show that we have the bonding capacity to do this, and then we get the grant from DEP, which is a tremendous effort that was put on by Councilwoman Greenblatt and myself to put this into place. And we just got this in under the wire of a July 1st deadline where we would have lost that opportunity. This is the first time that the council of the borough's administration has ever gotten this grant. So this is a great help to be able to complete the design of the remaining sewer system.
And it's a great thing to borrow money knowing someone else is going to pay you back.
Correct.
Right, so, I should have said earlier, for all of these introductions, there will be no public comment. We will have public comment for the adoption. Any other council comments or questions? Okay. Well, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that bond ordinance 2020-25-26 for providing for sanitary sewer system improvements appropriating $2 million should be placed, introduced.
Second.
Mrs. Noble?
Good work, guys. Definitely yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gupatowski?
Yes. Bond ordinance 2025-29. Again, an introduction. This is a bond ordinance providing for renovations to beach bathrooms and the concession located at 54 Ocean Avenue, AKA the defunct sewer pump station. That cinder block building next to the playground. This is a bond ordinance to put aside the ability to borrow up to $500,000 to renovate that building, and our goal is to have that building up and running with bathrooms and a small concession area by Memorial Day of next year. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a plan to go for grants? Because since the state identified, helped us identify what we want to do with the building, are we going after any grants that they offer?
We have repeatedly asked, and on a regular basis, I bring it up with our engineers. At this point in time, none are available, and the decision that we are voting on here would be to just begin moving the process forward so we can be ready for Memorial Day. Should grant opportunities arise, we should be able to pay ourselves back.
Okay, in addition, this is up to $500,000, so it could actually cost less.
We expect it to cost less.
Okay, and then this would be paid out of the beach fund once, and also if we have surplus, maybe we won't even need to borrow the money.
Well, that would be a lot of surplus, but you're absolutely right. We could use at least some of the surplus. Our total surplus is roughly $600,000 or $700,000. So the likelihood of having enough surplus we could pay for the entire improvement is unlikely.
Okay,
But we
when
could
it-
still use some of the surplus.
Okay, and when it does get paid back, it would be out of the beach fund, correct?
Correct.
Great.
Other comments or questions?
I have a question. So will we be able to bid out the concession in advance of the summer season, in advance of the completion of the project?
Yes.
So we can, because we can?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
We'll have the specs all done, architect renderings and whatever, so people will know what they're bidding on.
Okay, and I guess we have to come up with a formula of what the price point is relative to the other concessions, right?
And a little bit of that, yeah, and a little bit of what the market will bear. We can come up with a price point.
Right.
People bid half or double,
Right.
but yes. Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the introduction of bond ordinance 2025-29.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Noble?
Speeding things up. Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
No, it's good.
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Ordinance 2025-30, again, an introduction, ordinance amending Chapter 398, Streets and Sidewalks of the Borough. These amendments specifically apply to the sidewalks. It's basically bringing our language up to date, up to current. For example, we have one application fee, it's $200 today. Well, we're changing the application fee to read a lower application fee, $50 for small projects, up to the $200 for larger projects. And there's just other language requiring the council to approve a sidewalk correction or cleanup. We don't need council approval, so we're making relatively modest changes just to make sure this makes sense going forward. Instead of the council approving, it'll be code enforcement. Comments or questions?
I have a question, comment. So, when the applications are filed, will it be based on basically the size of the project to determine the cost, rather than the actual estimate, because it references an estimate of cost, and I'm not sure if that information is available when someone necessarily.
It's a good question. The language, the goal was to have small fee for a small project and a large fee for a large project. Define small.
Yeah,
Define
I
large.
think it does define a small project for $50, including 100 square feet of sidewalk.
Yeah.
Which is basically, if your sidewalk's 5 feet wide, by 20 feet, which is basically, roughly 4 squares. So, that would be a $50 replacement permit. And something greater than that would be, for the 100 square feet, would be the $200 fee.
And what Councilwoman Greenblatt is referencing, we also say $1,000 or 100 square feet. And the 1,000 is right now, a term of art. I mean, with inflation, we'll probably have to change it at some point, but for now, it's just giving people a rough approximation of giving them an opportunity to only pay $50. Right now, everybody pays $200.
And it also spells out, this ordinance spells out the uniformity requirements for uniformity of sidewalk.
Yes.
Which will also help, promote people to replace the sidewalks and not be a deterrent to have to pay $200 more. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, and as to that point, as sidewalks go, sometimes you're repairing a small crack, and sometimes you're replacing 5 or 8 squares, which can be more substantial. So when you're replacing a small crack, to pay $200 for the permit and $100 for the work doesn't quite fit.
It should be commensurate, which it is, for the inspection costs to come out and verify what's been done. And so that's more in alignment with the effort that our inspectors would have to do.
One other comment. A few years back, people may remember we had a bit of a sidewalk blitz where between the administrator and the code enforcement, they just found lots of sidewalks that needed repairing. They asked people to repair them. They did. It was quite a success. And since then, we've had the tree inventory done, and part of the tree inventory was whenever there was sidewalk deflection, they call it 3/4 of an inch, that was noted in the tree inventory. So code enforcement doesn't even have to leave the office. They can really just access this database and see where there's sidewalk deflections that are enough to trigger, literally tripping people, but also triggers that, this is, if it's that or greater, it has to be repaired. It's all the data's been collected. I mean, it doesn't stay static forever, but it's there. So we have a mechanism, and now it sounds like we're right sizing the fee, so let's do it.
Very good. Any other comments?
I just want to say before we move on, I know Ms. Lady was raising her hand, so just to give her the information that there will be another information, an opportunity to speak at the end of the meeting. So,
We're not taking public comment at this point, Mrs. Lady. That's the concern. But you will have an opportunity to speak later if you'd like to. Okay, hearing no additional comments, I'll make a motion that we approve the adoption of ordinance 2025-28, I'm sorry, 2025-30, that we approve the introduction of sidewalks.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, moving to adoptions, we have one ordinance, 2025-28. This is related to littering, solid waste, and recyclable collection. But very specifically, it's focused on bulk waste collection. In littering and solid waste, I'm sorry, not littering, but the solid waste and recyclables, it specifically identifies what hour, you can't put anything out earlier than, I don't have it in front of me, 9 p.m. or so the night before, and no later than 5 a.m. the day of. We're using those exact same hours for bulk waste collection. We had no such reference for bulk waste. That's the only change here. And now I will, first of all, open it to council comments and then public. No council? Okay, I'll make a motion that we open this up to the public.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Public, any comments or questions regarding this ordinance adoption? It's not a hand, is it?
No.
No, that's the cursor.
and just to make a correction to what you had mentioned, no earlier than 5 p.m. the day prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking that. Okay, seeing no comments or questions, I'll make a motion to close the public comment and adopt ordinance 2025-28.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Item 11, communications, there are none. Item 12, resolutions. Initially consent agenda, there are no consent resolutions. And moving to individual resolutions, 2025-271, approval of an outdoor cafe license for La Fogata Ideal LLC. Comments or questions? Make a motion that we approve 2025-271.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Okay, the next resolution I will not be able to vote on, so Mr. Nowicki, can I ask you to just make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for approving Darcy's Tavern to have live music in its parking lot on Sunday, August 31st, 2025, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Just like Al Gubatosi, Mayor Gubatosi, I live within 200 feet of the establishment, so I've been advised to abstain, so I will abstain.
Ms. Greenblatt?
So, I just want to share that Darcy's and the borough have made a good faith agreement, and Darcy's has abided by it. They are not entitled to have outdoor music events during June and July in the summer. July and August in the summer. This is like the absolute, Labor Day, last day of August that they're looking to do this, so I vote in favor.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yeah, I would, I'll vote in favor also, and I think it's important to note that Labor Day came very early this year, on the first of the month, so I think the intention was that they probably would always wanted to be able to have something on Labor Day. And they've been extremely cooperative and, settling the issues that they had, so, absolutely, yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I formally recuse myself?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mayor Gubatosi?
I'm going to recuse myself, since I also live within 200 feet of the establishment. Thank you. Okay, back to me. 2025-273 is an amendment appointing Bryant Curry as our part-time construction official and subject to a 4-year term.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2025-274, the item is approving amendments to the shared services agreement with the Borough of Avon by the Sea for engineering and construction services to replace Sylvan Lake Stormwater Outlet Control Gate. Councilman Nowicki, do you want to just quickly highlight this for the council? What's happening?
Yes, this was actually, in our last council meeting, was presented to vote on, and there were changes that were proposed by Borough of Avon that we've incorporated into this resolution. And this is probably the most critical immediate need project for Sylvan Lake, as the existing outlet gate is failing. So it's imperative that we advance and move forward with the replacement of that gate. We are looking for other ways to fund this, but in a worst case situation, we would have to either borrow from the infrastructure bank or bond for this improvement. And so it is a critical piece of our infrastructure to protect our homes and the lake.
Thank you. So that said, I'll make a motion that we approve 2025-274.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Item 2025-275, a resolution supporting the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act. Councilman Weber, do you care to make any comments on this?
Sure thing, just to orient people, there's a bill in the New Jersey State Legislature. It is called the Climate Superfund Act. And what it's doing is it aims to create a fund similar to the Superfund that helps clean up toxic waste sites around New Jersey and now around the country. It creates a fund so those sites can get cleaned up. Climate Superfund Act would create a fund so after there's a climate-related disaster, storms, floods, things like that, there'd be a source of money that towns could go to, counties could go to clean up the aftermath, help with resilience ahead of time, things like that. The funds would come from the largest oil and gas companies in the country. It's not mom and pop, it's not the guy down the street with an oil company. You gotta be responsible for a lot of climate pollution. So that's the effort. 50 towns in New Jersey have done this. We're a little late to the party, but happy to have this on the agenda.
Any other discussion or comments? Okay, I'll make a motion that we vote to approve 2025-276. oh, sorry, dash 275, supporting the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act.
Sorry.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Item, resolution number 2025-276, authorizing a payout of accumulated sick time to Leonard Guida, retired chief of the Bradley Beach Police Department for calendar year 2025. And just for public record, this is the second of 3 installments. There was an installment paid last year, dollar amount of $60,750. So second of 3 installments. Any comments or questions?
Well, I had asked the question as to why we need to approve this, if it's something contractual, and I was, kind of informed that this is sort of the protocol to.
You have to fund it. Yeah. It's contractual. We're not voting yes or no. I mean, we have a contract, to your point, to pay. This is just, gets on our agenda so we can fund it. Sometimes there are questions as to how.
That's practice and just to have it on file. It's not mandatory to do this, but it looks like it's better to do that.
Right, because we don't do that with other employees, right?
Well,
We have actually, other retirees, if they were getting, sick time payout for, say, I don't know, 3 years. Yeah, we did a resolution each year prior to, so.
These situations are waning. A number of years ago, the state of New Jersey passed the limitation on payouts, but payouts and little cap is $25,000 now. However, there are still some individuals, including our prior police chief, who were grandfathered and were not subject to that cap. There are still a few folks out there with Bradley Beach and elsewhere, but little by little, we, the residents and taxpayers, will see fewer and fewer large payments made. It's capped at $25,000 per.
It's just a matter of good record keeping, that's all.
So, I will make a motion that we approve 2025-276, the payout of accumulated sick leave to Leonard Guida.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Fortunately, my family and I were discriminated against and named in the publicly released Monmouth County Prosecutor's Report in one of the many multiple violations cited against Leonard Guida. Therefore, I do not feel comfortable voting and was advised to abstain. Therefore, I will be abstaining.
Ms. Greenblatt? Mr. Nowicki?
As this is contractual, yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Resolution 2025-277, the rejection of bids for the recreation center improvements received August 13, 2025, and authorization to advertise for rebid. And what's happening here is an administrative correction. There was honestly a very minor error that could have had major implications. The definition of a measurement. And what we're doing, basically, the bidders brought it to our attention, and they all said, we know what you meant, but it's not what you typed. So we need to correct it, even though it should not change any of the bids. Anyway, that's what we're doing here.
Now I'm curious, did we confuse like the metric system?
It was described to me.
You don't have to tell me, I was just like.
Yeah.
I don't think
First thing that came
it
to
was
mind.
CMA, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
engineer.
Okay,
And it-
yeah.
A relatively innocent oversight, but because it was a critical description of, the work to be done, even though all the bidders understood it was a mistake, we need to reissue the bid.
But when it does get reissued, we're going to put
Yeah,
in the bids.
it's gonna be a very
Yeah.
short turnaround,
Okay,
so we
good.
can move forward.
Yeah.
And it's not really gonna impact the start of the construction of the rec center?
No.
Minimally.
Minimally, yeah, if anything, yes.
Yeah, I would only suggest, Mayor, that if there is any issue as they do the work over the course of the year, and for any reason they can't complete the work before winter, and there's a cost of remobilization, that we should seek out CME for their mistake to compensate for that, which would be appropriate in this situation. Hopefully that won't be the case, and even if it's striping or something for the pickleball court that would have to happen in the spring maybe, there shouldn't be remobilization, but we should keep an eye on that so there's no undue cost to the borough.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further comments? Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the resolution 2025-277, which is rejection of the bids from August 13th and authorization to advertise for rebid.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Resolution 2025-278, appointing Kelly L. Helwig, CMCA, as the certified municipal court administrator effective today, August 18th, 2025. And the quick background is Ms. Helwig agreed to join us. She's served a number of years as the court administrator in Neptune City. And as I just said, she actually started today with us. We're very thrilled to have her join us. She's replacing Patty McGill, who retired July 31st. So, any
Just quick
questions?
question. Is it effective today or the 18th?
It's effective the 18th. She actually started yesterday.
Oh, she can start yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that that's not a typo.
My mistake.
Second.
Thank you for catching.
No, what?
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Item 2025-279, the bill list for August 19, 2025. Any discussion?
I saw your questions and they were answered.
Yes, my questions were, I was asking about a number of thousands of dollars that were actually for advertisements, and those were all related to the auction that's scheduled for, I think, September 16th for
Yes.
$319 million. And I guess that's protocol to spend about $4,500 on an advertisement.
That's possible.
Yeah. And,
Did you see the one on the big full page ad?
yeah.
And according to our business administrator this is his last day of vacation, so he couldn't join us tonight. But he mentioned to me that we have close to 50 individuals who have contacted him directly and expressed their interest in the property.
So the advertisements work. That's good.
Seems to be.
It's great.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve 2025-279.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, moving to announcements, item 13, there are none. Moving to 14A, the administrator report, there is none. There's no administrator. And we'll move to 14B, the mayor and council reports, and may I start today with Councilman Weber?
Okay, kick it off here. National Night Out was great. Thanks to everybody that came out. Thank you to the police department. Thank you to the mayor who flipped a few burgers. He needs to practice. He has like 19 grandchildren, so he's gonna be doing that one day at like a home cookout. I think he flipped 500 burgers, they said.
Only 12.
It's a great event, and thanks to everybody involved. We know all the volunteers that made it happen, fire and first aid, and lots of police officers come together to make that great. An announcement for the Environmental Commission, they're having another Japanese knotweed removal. Like last time, don't think of it as weeding, consider it foliage reconciliation. That's what we're doing on Saturday, the 23rd, from 10 to 2 at Maritime Forest. We're joining forces with the Monmouth County Master Gardeners Program. The weather is not supposed to be like 95 and humid like last time, so come on out. Well, we're actually just cutting knotweed, we're not pulling. We're just cutting this one invasive plant that's kind of the section near the lake. The rest of the Maritime Forest is good. Right near the lake, well, knotweed. We're going to cut it and bag it. And DPW is going to help us out, take that away. So thanks to them. Speaking of DPW, the sharing shed, I believe, is going well. For people that don't know, it's a little shed down at the DPW yard down Main Street. We have good, usable, clean, working items that you just don't want anymore. You can put them in the shed. We will spend less money on bulk trash disposal. So that's the goal there, and it seems to be working. Speaking of bulk trash, I just have to say I'm really glad that we don't have these really regular bulk trash days all over town. Whenever I drive through Neptune and they're having bulk trash day, I'm like, it looks awful, and sometimes it stays out there for a week. So I'm really glad that we don't have these massive bulk trash days. And we're finding other ways to deal with that. So really appreciate that. Sometimes good things happen, and sometimes it's pretty easy, you just ask. And I got wind that they were trying to figure out the numbering of the new houses that are gonna be on Lorraine Avenue. And, I live at 313, and I said, if the house next to me is 315, and then there's 317, and then we put the house on the corner and we make that 321, if that's the case, then forevermore, 319 Lorraine will be the address of the church, and nothing will ever be 319 ever again in this town. And I wish he was here, but I'm glad he's online, because Mr. Paul Champion, I know you can see this if you're watching, hopefully you're watching. This is for you, and I'm going to give this to you, and now you know that it's going to remain the church's address forever, and not some house that's on the corner anywhere in there. So, and that was just a matter of asking. So good things happen when people ask, so I'm going to applaud that. I really hope he's not. Paul, are you there? Did you hear that? I just
Sure.
wanted to call you. Get up and go to the bathroom because you're up there. Okay. Then a couple meetings ago, I made a big statement about the church, and I realized it wasn't completely done. So I just have a couple other things to say, which is, I've run for office 3 times here. I've knocked on a lot of doors in this town, and no one ever has said to me, not once, and it's never been said, and it's never going to be said. No one has ever said to me, you know what this town really needs, John? This town needs 4 more houses. It's never been said. And it's never been said because it's not true. I just say this now as maybe a cautionary tale for the town. We all know how this one went down. Maybe we can think about that if this ever is, if we're ever in a position where this could happen again. So just think about it. Nobody sits around going, wow, we really need 4 more houses in this town. It just doesn't happen. So think about that. Hopefully we'll never be in this situation again. And then going back to my property next door, we all know the church was established as the church in the woods, and what's left in the woods on that block is there's basically a couple trees in my backyard. And they're really big trees, and most folks know we had a program a while ago where we recognized, the Shade Tree Commission recognized trees that are older than Bradley Beach. When we had our 130th anniversary a couple years ago, we went and found the trees that were bigger than that. We're still looking, we still have plaques, but they get a little plaque if the tree's older than Bradley Beach. So I have a couple of those trees in my backyard, and just since we're auctioning off the properties, and somebody's going to probably buy this lot next to me, and then think they can do whatever they want to the trees, or cut them at the property line or something, I just want to let people know that I let the state of New Jersey, they have a big and heritage tree registry, and I contacted them, and they came out and they checked out my trees, and they sent me this nice letter afterwards that said, your trees are, well, I was reading about one, there's 2 of them, but this tree is the 6th largest white oak recorded in Monmouth County, and it's the 50th largest white oak in all of New Jersey. The tree has enough size and aesthetics to be included in the official New Jersey Big and Heritage Tree Registry. The registry has been kept since the 1930s and helps document big, heritage, and noteworthy trees in the state, as well as providing information regarding the change of the big tree resources over almost a century of time. We have entered this tree statistics and photographs and location into our database. This tree has been classified as a signature tree and is one of the largest of its species in the state of New Jersey. Trees of this caliber are rare and should be maintained and protected as often as needed. Trees of this size are mega resources and perform 600 times the environmental benefit of typical trees. You or the new owner, well, I'm not planning on installing, but you should consider installing a lightning protection system, as lightning has the capacity to kill big trees. There's more about this later, but the point is, it's just sort of, if there's going to be 50 people or however many people in this room bidding on those lots, people should know this is a big and heritage tree. It's on the tree registry as per the state of New Jersey. And that is, one last thought. Given what we heard earlier in the meeting about dunes, I'm going to make the case back to DPW for some more signage to keep out of the dunes. I think that can come out of the beach utility without any problem, and maybe even on both sides of the dunes. I know we There is some signage, it's particularly on entrances and on the one side, but we can get that on both sides, but I will talk to DPW with what they think about that. And that's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Going to go to the other end and ask Councilman Nowicki.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to just second John's comments on the National Night Out. Tremendous event, participation from, and, you know, this couldn't happen without our police department, fire department, and first aid, as well as OEM, and so, and the mayor's flipping hamburger professional wrist action. So that was just a great event, great community event, and a great turnouts, and a donkey tank, no less. Maybe we'll get the mayor up there next.
Then council will have to be.
That's here we go. And so with that, just a police activity report, just to activity since the last meeting. Brick Township man was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct after police found him slumped over on a Main Street bench. The investigation revealed he was extremely intoxicated, and while attempting to render him assistance, he became disorderly and combative with our officers. And I suppose locked up after that. A subject stopped for a motor vehicle a violation was charged with possession of controlled dangerous substance, suspected possession of a drug paraphernalia, possession of open alcohol in a motor vehicle, possession of drugs in a motor vehicle, and driving while suspended. And also, police arrested one individual on a contempt of court warrant and investigated 4 motor vehicle accidents since the last meeting. Thank you for all you do. First aid for the operational period ending August 19th. The squad responded to 21 day calls and 7 night calls, for a total of 28 calls, 21 for medical, 7 for fire calls, and 2 calls involved water rescues. The squad provided mutual aid to Avon and Ocean Grove. The squad provided medical overwatch for the National Night Out, as well as provided handout and touch a truck on the ambulance and Kubota. The squad also provided medical overwatch for the fire department's annual 5K run and treated 5 runners. The squad requested no mutual aid for this operational period. The squad fulfilled 100% of their assignments for this operational period. We are still looking for volunteers for the first aid squad. We offer free training for qualified individuals and who can volunteer for first aid squad. Applications can be found on the Borough website. Just to mention, I do not have a fire department report, but again, the 5K was another resounding success. A lot of work for our municipal support teams of the police and fire first aid. Did a tremendous job of closing off all the streets. And this is really an important community event, and it was well attended, a great fundraiser, and just great for the community. Also, I want to mention that we went out to Brindley Avenue and Ocean to recognize the council. The Historic Society had just put out a new sign recognizing the Brindley fire that 24 people perished in at the corners of Brindley and Beach. I guess that was just 200. I mean, very solemn event, but it was monumental for this the state as well as the country, as many of our, including our first aid chief, John Zach, that was at the location at this fire. But it had, without question, revolutionized, changed fire safety laws across the country, all because of this incident. And the response, as I learned, was tremendous from our and the neighboring fire departments, and it was could have been even worse than what it was, and very sad event. But it's a great sign that was recognizing them as put up there on the boardwalk. So if you happen to be walking by the boardwalk at right there at Brindley and right where the concession is, it's a really nice sign and Bradley blue. But it's really an important historical event, very solemn, but it truly made our life and the world safer as a result of it. So, and then the last I'd like to report on is Sylvan Lake Commission is meeting tomorrow here in this room. So please come on out and participate if you want to hear about the status and what's going on with projects and the Lake Commission. We are also looking to save the date. We're looking at a September 8th community information center that would either be here in Borough Hall or perhaps over at the firehouse. We're trying to work out the logistics, space for Monday, September 8th, and the time to be announced. Just to share with the community all the projects that are anticipated and proposed for the lake, and the purpose and what the status of them are. So with that, that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm going to turn to my right. Councilwoman Greenberg.
Thank you. I too, I guess all of council was at the presentation on Sunday for the fire that took place in 1980. Kind of astonished to hear that that a lot of those precautions were not in place at that point in time. And also, interestingly, Bradley Beach had two fire stations. One was on Evergreen in the 500 block, and then the other on Main Street. The fire station on Evergreen had 30 firefighters assigned to that firehouse, which is pretty astounding and alarming when you see how much smaller the fire force is now. So, for those who are interested in that sort of thing, really encourage, the going forward to participate as a firefighter. And I also participated in the 5K. It was the first time I participated as a council person, and it was really a lot of fun. It was a wonderful community event, and I was the one who took pictures when the runners were coming in, and I can announce that the first man to come through, his time was 15 minutes 40 seconds, and that was a true time. And the first woman to come in was 17 minutes 35 seconds, and I don't know how true that time was because it all depends on when they start in the run. So that was kind of interesting. So my council reports. Arts Council met Monday, July 28th. A porch pop-up arts exhibit runs this Saturday, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the James Bradley, with a meditative sound bath hosted by Green Lotus Yoga and Wellness at 1 p.m. and music by Carol Lester Productions at 2 p.m. Special thanks to the James Bradley for graciously hosting their space. Please stop by and support the local artists of Bradley Beach as they exhibit their work. The Arts Council will hold its next meeting Monday, August 25th at 11 a.m. in the Biazzi Center. The Fletcher Lake Commission canceled its August meeting. A Fletcher Lake cleanup will be planned for early October, so keep an eye out for details. The commission will next meet on September 11th. And the Recreation Board met August 18th. A banner summer is now on the books for the Bradley Beach Rec Camp, as campers celebrated their final day last Friday, August 15th. Camp ended on a high note with rides, games, and food for all the families to enjoy. There were over 250 people in attendance, with new campers ready to sign up for next year. The camp counselors did an outstanding job stepping up to the task of such a large increase in campers this year, and Recreation is so thankful for their hard work and dedication. And ongoing and ahead, Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Biazzi Center. Salted Soul Yoga continues throughout August. Check the yoga schedule on the Recreation webpage for details. And note that the Senior Club meets up again in September, Wednesday the 24th from noon to 3. Their meetings take place on the fourth Wednesday of each month at the Biazzi Center. The Recreation Committee was busy filling 125 backpacks this past Sunday afternoon in preparation for its fourth annual back-to-school bingo, held at the Rec Center that evening, August 17th. Thanks to the community for donating over 1,000 school supply items. Every child in attendance went home a winner with a full backpack of school supplies. Each of these students are starting a new school year off on the right foot because of the amazing generosity of friends and neighbors. All remaining backpacks and supplies will be given to the Bradley Beach Elementary School to continue to support the kids and teachers throughout the year. The Rec Board's next meeting is Monday, September 8th, 6:30 p.m. at the Rec Center. And that's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council President DeNoble.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Board of Ed have a meeting tonight, so I'll report on that at the next meeting. The tourism had
Commission had a meeting Tuesday, August 12th. They discussed the QR code. That's the code that you see at the beach. They had almost 1,000 visits on that code. And if you want to guess which restaurant had the most hits, anybody? Finn's, followed by the Butter Biscuit, and then the Del Ponte's, and then Darcy's. So, huge success. Speaking of huge success, we are like a music hub. Everybody has been talking about this. My sister even came to visit from West Virginia. She's like, these streets are buzzing with people. I went to Belmar, I was dead. She goes, we have so many people. And we have the Tourism Commission to thank for that, and Amy Baker. Well, she's not Baker yet, she recently got married. Amy Hall to thank, our director. Pirate Day was also a huge success. 150 children participated, 30 businesses. The Verdict played. This one was tearing it up, right? Everyone was out dancing to reggae music. Really great. Oh, here's some good news. We're gonna have a fall concert series. So starting September 13th through October 25th, which will be the Halloween show, there'll be music from 4 to 6 p.m. And that's my report on the tourism. As far as Shade Tree, they had 2 applications. 200 Fletcher Lake Avenue is removing 3 trees, but good news, they're planting 11 trees. You hear that, Joe? 11 trees. That's cool. Newark Avenue is removing 1 tree and replacing it with 1 tree. Also, let's see, they have, their account recently has $15,200 in it. Now here's some huge news. The New Jersey DEP has awarded the Bradley Beach Shade Tree Commission $40,000. They're going to plant up to 70 trees throughout the borough. Not only are they gonna plant them, they're gonna put mulch on them, they're gonna put a water bag on them, they're gonna put stakes in them. So the Public Works doesn't have to do anything. They're gonna do everything. You have to choose between maple, oak, sycamore, redbud, dogwood, crabapple, cherry blossom, all natives except for cherry blossom, but they're awfully pretty. And we were one of 5 municipalities that got this. It was Jersey City, Nutley, Garfield, and Englewood. It's Edgewater, I'm sorry, Edgewater. How did Bradley Beach get this? The Shade Tree Commission members are so active in getting their credits, their CEUs. In addition, they did an aerial view of Bradley Beach, and they said that we need to build up our tree canopy. So these are really great news, and kudos to the Bradley Beach Shade Tree Commission. Bravo to all of you. And that completes my report.
Wow, thank you, Council President. I've got a number of things I'm going to check them off kind of quick because I want to save what I think is by far the best for last. One, I echo what others said, National Night Out, the fire department's 5K run, great events, great turnout, great weather. So, just wonderful events. And my hamburger flipping is a lot better than folks here have described it. I promise I stood downwind from that smoke. And that was yeah. A few folks have mentioned the Brilliant Fire. I just want to add to that, it was a tragic event 45 years ago. It did change fire safety laws in New Jersey, so Bradley Beach is hailed for that unfortunate event, but for all the good and all the lives it has saved since. The plan is for next year that we will add some sort of a monument recognizing that event at Riley Park. So the fire company is beginning preliminary planning for that. I just want to make sure everyone's aware the fire department and EMS are both in the middle of their fundraising season. If you have any interest in supporting them, please contact us or contact any member of either of those organizations, and feel free to write a check. I know they would appreciate it. They're constantly keeping their eye out on us and making sure that we are safe. So anything we can do to help them is great. I mentioned earlier, Kelly Helwig is our new court administrator. We're thrilled to have her with us. And I also mentioned earlier, I want to say again, we will miss Patty McGill, who's been our court administrator for many years. Did a phenomenal job, and she's now beginning to enjoy her vacation, her retirement. Something that's just, I think, a really exciting accomplishment for the borough. In municipal government, you know, there are ways to try your best to manage our taxes. Manage costs, try not to let them escalate at too fast a rate, and where you can, increase revenue. And one way to increase revenue is through creating shared service arrangements with other boroughs. Bradley Beach has a current court structure where we have our court here, as well as we host 2 other towns, Allenhurst and Avon. So we have 3 courts already in Bradley Beach. You will hear us next month voting on approval, hopefully, of adding a 4th court, which was we were just awarded this. Again, it has to be approved by our council and another municipality's council. But assuming this goes through, we'll be adding a 4th court and adding to our shared services revenue. So it's a couple months in coming. I'm probably a little premature in announcing it. You notice I'm not saying names, but it's very exciting, and the judge and the other municipality are very excited that we're doing this. They think it's a win-win for the courts, for our taxpayers, and for our court personnel. Hurricane Erin hopefully disappears out in the middle of the Atlantic, but I just want everyone to know that we've been in regular contact. When I say we, OEM, our police, our beach manager, our lifeguard manager, and our DPW. The beach is going to be red flagged. People will not be swimming over the next few days. There's a surf camp that actually held class yesterday, but it's closed for the rest of the week. We are prepared, if necessary, to move the furniture, move the lifeguard chairs, do whatever's necessary to manage the lakes, the level of the lakes, should we have rain. We are not expecting heavy rain. There very likely could be some ocean surges, so we will keep an eye on equipment on the beach. But just want to let everybody know, people are paying close attention to managing any adverse potential impacts that may occur. And the most important item, 7 on my list, our head of our lifeguards, Michael Rosenberg, shared an email that he received from a mother. I get choked up every time I read this thing, so I'll try to, if you're a parent or a grandparent, you'll appreciate this email. Again, this was sent to Michael Rosenberg, the head of our lifeguards. On Friday, August 8th, my friends and I brought our children to Bradley Beach, and we positioned ourselves in the area of the beach right in front of the mini golf. We're not super familiar with Bradley Beach, but we have been there a few times. The warning flags were up and the waters were rough. As the day went on, I noticed children and adults getting farther and farther into the water. My 10-year-old son was one of them, along with his 2 friends. At a certain point, he was hip deep, and I positioned myself at the water's edge to call him back. Within seconds, the 3 of them were being swept away by the rip current, and I ran in after them. Every wave that crashed on me knocked me further back, and I felt more helpless than I've ever felt in my whole life. I didn't want to go underwater because I wanted to keep my eyes on their bobbing heads. 2 lifeguards came running out and literally saved their lives. I have been so stunned since that moment to even think about how to thank or how to even reach them. I don't know if it's possible to track down the 2 lifeguards that saved my 10-year-old son and his friends, but if there is, please tell me that. I could never repay them for what they did for us that day. I will never take the ocean or lifeguards for granted. I hope this email finds its way to them, because I've relived these moments in my head every single second of every day since it happened. In fact, if there's a way to mail them a token of my gratitude, I greatly appreciate an address to send it to. Thank you very much. And obviously that's super powerful from the heart of a mother. But it also just goes to show something that we possibly don't appreciate as much as we should, and that's the phenomenal work that all of our beach employees do, our lifeguards. They truly save lives daily. And that's just a powerful description of what one mother went through as she thought she was about to lose her son. So I share that with us so we all just, take a moment to thank these people and appreciate what they delivered to Bradley Beach. So with that, I will close my comments, and we will move to item 15 on the agenda, which is public comments or questions. Yes, sir.
Joe Kulik, 509 Monmouth Avenue. If you will hand this to the council for me, they can take a quick look and then I can pose my questions. This is in regards to the lamppost at 3 locations in Bradley Beach. At 42 Main Street, I remember, it's been quite some time, a car crashed into that building and took down that light post. Now, do you guys get reimbursed for this, that they could put the lights back? Or, my wife, who is smarter than I am, says, or is it a county road? So, these 3 locations, what's your opinion on that?
It's a state road, and we do get insurance proceeds to reimburse us for the cost, well, not so much the cost, but the value of the light post. I think total there are 6 posts now. You mentioned 3.
Are there?
Yeah, we've actually lost 6. DPW's all over this. We're, as you're also probably aware, Joe, we're looking at the beginning of revitalizing Main Street. We have a $1.4 million grant, another $1 million of bonding alliance, so over $2 million to begin the process of renovating Main Street, pavers, street lights, benches, things like that. What we're trying to do is identify the style of lamp posts that we're going to use for all of Main Street and secure at least 6, and I think we may go as far as 8. By the way, they cost approximately $13,000 a piece. So at minimum of 6, but what we want to do is we don't want to replace those 6 in somewhat random locations, making the rest of the street look odd. So there may be a couple locations. In fact, a few of them are on one block. In that one block, we may do all of lamp posts. But the goal is to have that done fairly soon in the next few months. The challenge being, 1, we have to secure the lamp post. 2, there may be ADA grading that has to take place for the pavers. So what we're going to do probably is put these lamp posts in, even though in the fall or spring, we'll probably be ripping up some of the sidewalks and regrading them. But we're going to do it in a way that we can use the lamp posts, we can move them, put them back. But we are aware, and there's a plan in place.
Yeah, it's just been a while. I thought they would have put a light back, that's all. Last question, USA 1 or Bradley Auto Parts. Do you know the intent of that building? I know the owner lives in Ocean Grove, but that place is a little ratty looking. There's a tree growing inside the store, and the sign itself, half the letters are missing. I mean, can you just take all the letters off? When you drive into town, you start seeing a building like this. It's a little, I don't know, maybe to me it's more of an eyesore.
Yeah,
I'm a little picky because Jay knows I ride the bike all over town, so I'm always looking at these little odds and ends, and that's why I brought this up. So thank you for letting me voice my opinion.
And that property, US Auto Parts, was actually, you may not know this, was acquired by the car wash. They do have plans for that property, but we can still reach out to them and ask them to do
I
something.
don't know if it was going to be for sale, or I mean, it just seems to sit
It's sold,
there.
but you make a good point, just because they're not running their business out of there anymore, they still have obligations on property maintenance and whatnot, so we should have them keep it out.
We will have code follow up.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Ms. Lady.
Good evening. I'm Jean Leahy from Park Place. I have a little list, so I'll try to make it brief. But I'm going to start with one, my main one. I'm going to put off for a second. I must, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for your time, and I can hear better. I don't know if the acoustics are better, but I didn't come because I couldn't hear. But anyhow. I went to the concert, and I do like the concerts. Whoever got there, very nice on Saturday night. And what I would like to make a suggestion, I found those pamphlets that remember we had them at the seniors? And they should go in the taxes. Not everyone's aware Because not everyone is on the internet or the play, but they're very good, and they tell people what you have and when you have. Well, anyhow, so I went to the concert, which was fine. Anyhow, and I happened to sit behind the statue with the bell. And so I had one suggestion, that either a policeman or those brown shirts, blue shirts, whatever they're wearing that give out tickets, walk through once. Not all mothers watch their children. And in front of me, they're climbing the bell. There are like 3 of them. Now, how am I gonna get up with my white hair to tell them to get down? And so I suggest you have a policeman just wander through politely, but no one. And I looked around to see if I could see someone that I could tap to. But if they fall, mother will be the first to sue you, thank you. Okay. Now, being that you're all so yes people, it's amazing since last time I've been here. All right. I want you to save our long-term residents and our neighborhood. I live on the 4th block of Park Place. We have 18 houses, 9 on each side. There are 11 which are full-time people. We have 3 on our side which come down on weekends, whatever. And 2, unfortunately, are for sale across the way. We have 1 Airbnb. Now, on our block, I shared my driveway with, and we have very nice relationship, and we're fine. And on the 500 block, they have 2 Airbnbs. One, and I asked Jane, she said they're supposed to have 7-day, if you rent or your Airbnb for 7 days. Trust me, the one does not do for 7 days. Now the other I can't say. And also on the 500 block, they have more apartments, you know what I mean, the houses, so they have more cars. So when there's an overflow on their cars, they come to our block, which is normal. It's a public street, I get that. But, so the 1 Airbnb, we have, they're full-time all year, and they're, people don't know how to park. They just park. Whew. And though I don't want the lines either, because then I think we'll lose. But anyhow, I want you to have an ordinance to save us. We live here all year round, we pay our taxes, and we deserve as much right as these people coming in. Now, they lie, everyone lies. So, but I want you to try to figure out a way to limit on each block. It isn't fair to have us all loaded with Airbnbs, because they're not neighbors. They're in and out. And when you live by yourself, it's kind of frightening sometimes. And so I would see if you could help us out, because we live here, we like it here, and that's it. I want to have 2 being I got opinions. I have, these are my opinions, and I've lived here for 25 years, and I like it. It's safe, I like the community, people, everything's fine. But I'm on the town. I do not like coming down my block and looking over in June, and it's there right, there was apartments. So and I hope whatever the plans for this town is, it's a nice family town. I don't want any hotels, and I don't want you to put any more things on our end of town. We're the south, and every town is one side better than the other. Bigger properties, I get it, that's the way it is. But don't overload us. Okay, and leave the boardwalk alone. And your concessions, we don't need smells when we walk the boardwalk. People come down just to relax and enjoy the ocean. No smelly food.
This lady,
And
this
the
lady,
ocean speaks for itself.
Mrs. Leahy, you're out of time, but can you just wrap it up kind of quickly?
Thank you for your time.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, I just wanted you to.
That's it. That's
Oh,
it.
okay, okay, great.
But I did have, a tree. I want the trees, being that we got this grant, trees were taken down on,
Ridley?
no,
Okay.
by Fletcher Lake. Remember they took down around 3
Lake Terrace.
trees
Yes.
on our side of Fletcher Lake before the bridge,
Yes.
put a few trees there. Thank you.
Thank you. I love your idea.
Ms. Leahy, you remember that this, well, at least 3 people up here voted against making our zoning so we could have hotels and motels on Main Street. So that was just last year?
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, we can't have them.
That was
Right,
actually
and so
in
there was,
2020.
some people wanted that, and this council went the
Right.
other way on that. So.
Okay, good.
We're gonna stick
And
to
now-
it.
now
And we're
just
also
work on
working-
my Airbnbs and,
We're also working and trying to understand the degree of Airbnbs within the borough. We've hired a company that's actually doing that.
but the thing is, people don't tell you, you see, and, they're all.
We're finding them.
And so everyone's aware, but it isn't fair for us who live here because it makes you uneasy. I'm almost tempted to get a dog. Okay.
You can have mine.
Get to know.
You like chihuahuas, right?
Big one, big one. That wolf's.
Oh, yeah.
Regarding Airbnb, we do have an ordinance in place to attempt to manage them, to make sure they follow rules and what have you. But many people don't report that they are running an Airbnb. And we did, as Councilwoman Greenblatt just mentioned, we did hire a company called Granicus, and they monitor websites. They find people in Bradley Beach who are renting out their houses or their apartments. They identify them to us. We match all the people in Bradley renting their places in short-term rentals. We match all those rentals against the people who have given us their name as a landlord. And in fact, we have a large number that we've identified that did not report themselves as landlords, and our code enforcement is following up with them now. We're gonna send out a letter telling them they're in violation, and we are going to manage them aggressively. So, took us a while to get to this point, but we're getting there quickly.
Can we have them actually post the information on the Airbnb website? I mean, that the rentals are 6 nights, minimum of 6 nights
On the website.
on the Airbnb listings. Because I think that it's very likely that there are lots of Airbnb rentals that fall under the 6-night minimum.
I'm not quite sure, let's put it this way, let's talk out there. But there are very specific rules, 6.5 night minimum. We have pictures of what they're advertising. We have data that tells us who's paid for a week or 3 days. So we'll be able to figure out a lot, not all, but a lot of who's violating. But it's an imperfect world because these advertisements give you minimal information to identify who the landlord is. But this company kind of does the sleuthing for us, identifies them, and then we reach out, and we're doing that now. As far as where we post it, I don't know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, we have an ordinance, we're gonna notify them what the ordinance is, where they're in violation, how much they owe us in fines, how much they owe us for fees. And then if they don't follow the law, then we'll continue to fine.
Right, and even down to the size of the units and the number of people that can actually rent those units. Because of course, those people are all associated with cars that go on the street.
Yep. Okay, other questions or comments from the public? Anyone on Zoom with a question or comment?
Oh, we have?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Hi.
Mia Toback, 304 Monmouth Avenue. So I'm here in regards to the proposed Sylvan Lake restoration project. And as you stated, there is the meeting that's going to be held on September 8th, which I didn't know until just now.
Yeah, that's a save the date. It's not, we're gonna confirm that once we establish where it will be.
Perfect.
That's
Okay.
the target, so save the date.
Great, because that was one of my questions. as well as, I will be attending tomorrow's meeting, for the Sylvan Lake, commission, more specific stuff. But I'm here because you recently circled the area, Bradley Boulevard neighborhood, up and down Bradley Boulevard, and put out flyers to kind of just giving the outline of what the proposed projects are. And it's a very complicated, or there's several aspects to this plan, as we all know. And that flyer was great. It listed everything out, and it actually created a lot of questions. So we had a document gathering. You guys were very gracious to come and host and explain more, and wonderful. But again, more questions came out of it. And I think we've been kind of my neighbor and I have sort of been put in a position where a lot of people have approached us to say, hey, the issue is really the narrowing of Bradley Boulevard, right? The people that live on the actual lakeside, and how that will kind of affect them personally, also the whole just landscape of what is Bradley Boulevard, what it's been, and et cetera. Very well aware that the plan's overall idea is for the health of the lake. That's the bottom line. How are we gonna make this lake healthier? And again, very complicated, a lot of things going on, which we all know. So I think why I'm here is just to sort of, besides the meeting, the Sylvan Lake meeting, committee meeting, is to just go in front of the council and just say this feedback from the residents, which is over 40 plus homes. The vast majority of people are just not for narrowing the boulevard. And if there's any way that during, this process is sort of ongoing, or around, we have timelines in place, and don't want to, affect any of that. But if there's any opportunity for us to make sure that this is a last resort, or if there's any further talks about narrowing the boulevard, any other alternatives that maybe have been explored or ruled out, and things have been expressed to be shared, whether it's at this September meeting or tomorrow's meeting, or so on. So it's really not necessarily a question, because that was my question, to say when can we come forth with those questions, more detailed, because it's a lot of information and a lot of things that are spinning around, and people have expressed just questions, basically. So you will be getting back to us to confirm.
Absolutely, thank you, Leon. Yes, like I said, we're looking at September 8th, Monday, as a hold the date. We're trying to work out the logistics. We'll get out confirmation. Hopefully get it on the website, as well as our next council meeting. I'll be able to say that it's happening as well. But we'll get that information out as soon as we secure which facility and the time, between what hours. And it's probably gonna be, in the evening, probably like a 6 to 8. But we need to confirm all that at where. And so we're gonna talk about that at the Lake Commission meeting tomorrow. And then we also have a technical advisory committee that is the consultants, and so they all have to get together. They're getting together on Friday, just so we coordinate all this stuff that has to be put together to bring it to the public. So that's all. We're trying to push hard to get as much information to the residents as fast as we can.
Right, because that's another part of it, is getting it to the residents so that we can, address the questions, and for what it's worth, the people that are on that boulevard, that maybe have some input on how that road is, how it's used, the function of it. I know there's studies out there and so forth, but, there's these other aspects of just, hearing the people and the residents and how we experience it. So we appreciate that. And appreciate everything that's been done for this committee, fast-tracked in the last, since you guys have been, rolling here. I mean, it's been a lot of progress, so that's, well noted and appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, no other hands in the room. On Zoom, we have Mr. Nishamkin. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I'm Paul Nishamkin, 411 Lorraine Avenue. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the council for joining us on last Saturday for the dedication of the Bradley Fire sign. It is one of 12 new boardwalk signs that the Historical Society has put up. It's a new design. It includes a QR code, which in the case of that one sign will take you to a page on our website which goes into a detailed history of the Brilliant Fire and with a lot of newspaper articles about the follow-up on the fire. The plan is to have QR codes on all the existing signs and the new signs that are going up now. And eventually they will be populated with background information on all the images on the boardwalk signs. A total of 12 signs have gone up in the last couple of weeks. Don't know if you noticed them. Some of them are replacements for damaged signs and some are brand new. If you're interested in sponsoring a sign, visit our website, bbhistory.org, and you will see a place for signing up for sponsoring a sign. We're interested in any images that you have, historic Bradley Beach, maybe your family in front of one of the pavilions, that sort of thing, or you can pick from our library of available images that you might want to sponsor. Thank you again for showing up for that occasion. The next event of the Historical Society will be on August 29th, where we'll be saluting one of Bradley Beach's favorite sons, Cesar Romero, popularly known as the first of the Batman movies, but with a distinguished long movie career in Hollywood. He graduated from the Bradley Beach Elementary School in 1922, and we have the author of a book who will be making a presentation, a newly published book on Cesar Romero on August 29th from 4 to 6 o'clock. There will be all sorts of activities. In addition to his presentation, there will be a Batman laugh, Joker laugh contest, and also there will be other things you can register for, including an after meeting with the author at the Tiki Bar at Uva. Just the first in a series of events the Historical Society hopes to have almost monthly through the end of the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on the screen? I can't read.
Nope.
Nothing. Okay, we will then conclude the public comments and questions. There is no item 16 executive session. And before I adjourn, I just want to make sure I say Mayor's Wellness Walk this Saturday, 9 a.m. at the Fifth Avenue Pavilion, whatever it is. Okay, that said, I forgot. I will now.
I will be there. What's the topic? Hydration.
Well, I forget, but just be there. It'll be super dynamic, very exciting mayor. Pardon me. Meeting adjourned.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That was a great question, Beverly.
Oh, thank you, Terry.
And this thing, it's not like a.
Okay.
Walk-in signage, and lots of people answer it.
So, yeah, well, he just said he was just like.
This